Vanya, after quite the hike, yes, we're all exhausted, and that's why we're going to have to sit here. We really hope that this is a good legend because it took, I think, the most effort so far to get up here.
Of course, it's a good legend. Otherwise, we wouldn't be so high up above Šibenik on a hill called Debeljak. That really was kind of a border in between inland of Šibenik and down in the front of a seafront. So Debeljak was very important to these people that lived in this area. As you could see, this is area where it's not very rich with vegetation, and they couldn't cultivate all that much. So they kept domestic animals and mainly sheep that gave them fish, that gave them a meat, wool and the cheese, etc. Products that you can get from sheep. And sheep were like a gold. So children, youngsters, they would come around this area and take with the sheep together. They would eat around here this very, very poor vegetation, and in the evening they would come back to their homes, and that would be in the springtime, in a time when animals could find just this little bit of green.
Well, we didn't see any shepherds on our hike up here, but how many years ago were they doing this?
Well, that was something going back last time, and when Apparition really it was in the 1930s.
Okay.
And nowadays we don't have a lot of sheep around this area. Inland, yes, but not in this area here, Lozovec area. People started to work in the factories and in the tourism around, but at that time nothing of like that activity was here, so that was the only way to feed a hungry mouth in a families.
You say that sheep, it was like having gold. We've heard a lot about shepherds in these legends. Can you say a bit about the social standing of shepherds in society?
Well, that was mainly they were not so organized, not in this area here. In this area here, as you can see, they just kept those sheep to give a family to eat. No, they didn't have any collective anything like that. They didn't have like a farms. Every family had its own sheep, and that's about that. That served them to, if they sold those sheep for a Christmas time or some festivity, they could buy shoes or they could buy some dresses and things like that. But they never were such a big farms of sheep.
And the legend?
Well, legend, it's very, very interesting, and I could see that it's very interesting. It took us some time to climb up here, and I nearly saw a Madonna vision around this area.
The apparition happened.
Yes. Well, children as a youngsters, of course, they had to listen what older in the family said, and they were in charge for animals, and when they didn't go in school, and some of them they didn't go at that time at school at all, so they went here to look after sheep. And the boy from Lozovec area, from that area, he came with his sheep here. He knew he could spot his sheep from miles away, and he knew he knew exactly how they look like, although he didn't have to come close to them. They all, you see.
Oh my God.
So boy, he was sent by his father. He was head of house to take his sheep here to have something to eat, of course, to go around of these hills. And he met his friend, and as a young children of his age, he started to talk with a friend, and suddenly he turned around. He couldn't see his sheep anymore. He came up a little bit higher. He still couldn't see a sheep, and by trying to get higher up and to have a view over all this area, he came near this cave here.
Lujo! Bika! Crna! Ma di su nestale? Moram ih naći, inače se ne trebam kuć vraćat. Vraži mate me zapriča i sad sam sve ovce izgubio.
He was wondering if the sheep went through that, because the other side, he didn't know exactly what was on the other side, but he went inside and he saw a beautiful lady dressed in a white dress with a golden shine and keeping a child in a hand. He came closer, he couldn't believe, and he got frightened in the same time because he didn't expect such a vision right in front of him, and he ran away.
Ma naći ću ja njih, makar mi to bilo zadnje u životu. O, ljudi, u pomoć!
He ran away, he wanted to call his friends just to have a look, to go together and have a look. That was something, the most beautiful he ever saw in his life. He came back and she disappeared. The lady, Madonna, disappeared.
Šta je bilo? Šta je bilo? Nema tu ničeg.
Ma vidio sam gospu, tako mi svega prekrasna je bila.
Gospu? Ma kako gospu? Daj, molim.
Ma vidio sam je, kunem ti se, dolje bila.
Učinilo ti se, ajde.
He came back, of course, in the village, and eventually he found a sheep, because without sheep he couldn't go back to his home. As I said before, this was as a goat, and this was what kept alive, really, all the family. And to my opinion, he saw Madonna just because of that. He couldn't come back without any sheep.
Well, we'll all keep our eyes open, and maybe on our way down too, we'll discover some sheep. You never know. Some lost sheep.
We might see the Madonna.
Maybe.
I think
Vanya.
I'm just about to see one.
But also there's a lot of legends of dragons in this area as well. Is it possible you could find a dragon to maybe pick us up and take us back?
I would love to.
With
I did not-
legends, we can imagine anything. Anything can happen.
I hope so. I hope that there's something in those legends. Maybe I will have a legend on my way back, and I'll think that I'm in a helicopter or something, or in a dragon.
Yeah.
So this teaches children, if you lose something valuable, at least come back with a good story.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very, very
Okay.
good
The
conclusion.
moral of this legend.
That's
Wow.
Yes, the
very good
moral of
Makes people
conclusion.
forget that you lost
Yes.
your thing.
Oh yes, and you make up that you saw first of all that you saw Madonna,
Right.
and in a freight you forgot that you found a sheep.
Well, let's sit here for a little while longer and recover before we make the long trek down.
And I'll go that way.
Okay.
Where is
We'll meet you at the bottom of the
Yeah.
hill. Everyone take your own pace.
yeah.